The brother asked, what advice would I give to somebody that wanted to seek advice or counsel from a therapist in order to treat depression according to, for example, Western sciences? Firstly, I would advise them to practice that which, and learn about and practice what has been legislated. Ikhwan, like when a person experiences depression, have we exhausted, and like I said, this is for all of us, no one is exempt from this. If a person is miserable, have we exhausted everything that is legislated? وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Seek aid through the prayer and patience. How many people, if they're depressed, how many of them wake up in the middle of the night and pray? How many, if somebody is depressed, how many of them, go out of their way to do extra, to fast? How many of them go out of their way to give more charity? If somebody is depressed, how many of them go out of their way to do, to make the dhikr of Allah? How many of them say, okay, well, I'm depressed, I'm going to make sure that I stick to my dhikr from the time I wake up all the way until I go to sleep. I'm not going to miss any of the adhkar which are mashru'a, legislated. How many people practice that and have tried it before they go to the therapist? Like I said, I'm not saying if you need the advice of a medical doctor, that's one thing. But at least try what has been legislated. أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنَّ الْقُلُوبِ. Allah says it in the Quran. With the remembrance of Allah, the hearts, they become content. Allah said it in the book. With the remembrance of Allah, the hearts, they become content. Like we said, a lot of the depression that exists today is because people have moved away from the Sharia of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, from the legislation of Allah. And Allah tells us in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِ فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ. Whoever turns away from my remembrance, they will have a miserable life. Naam. Whoever turns away from my remembrance, they will have a miserable life. Shirk. The most miserable of the people are those who are upon shirk. Naam. The most miserable of the people are those who are never satisfied with the decree of Allah. They're going to be miserable. What the Prophet ﷺ advised us, he directed us. Don't look at the one who is superior to you. Look at the one who is inferior to you. Naam. Even that. Somebody, look at the one who is inferior. There's always somebody in a worse situation than you. Naam. So like I said, what we need to do as Muslims, alhamdulillah, we need to implement the kitab and the sunnah. Because Allah tells us, when people forget about Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah Azza wa Jal will make them forget about their own selves. When they forget about Allah, Allah will make them forget about their own selves. Naam. And if you look at the society, the way that it's built, non-Muslim societies, which is not based upon the kitab and the sunnah, you find that a lot of the spiritual, the psychological problems is because of the ill shirk, na'am, bid'ah, ma'asi, and so on and so forth. Na'am. Somebody listening to music, that rap music, which is no doubt, it's the devil's, it's the call of the devil, they're going to be depressed. Of course. They're going to be depressed. You're wondering why, a person wondering why they're depressed and all they listen is to that filth. Naam. As Ibn al-Qayyim he said that the music is the Quran of the devil. Naam. So like we said, ikhwan, this is an issue in itself. Alhamdulillah, Abu Khadija, Jazallah Khair, Akhuna Al-Fadil, and Amjad Rafiq, Hafidhahum Allah Ta'ala, they've written about this and they have articles on the internet. I advise the brothers to read about it with regards to, overusage of medication and rather as it relates to psychological illnesses and trying to treat depression with what is based upon the kitab and the sunnah with the understanding of the salaf. Inshallah, if I have some time myself, bi'idhnillah, I'll try and write about it from a pharmaceutical point of view. Just to highlight, some of the dangers of these medicines, but also some of the remedies in accordance to the kitab and the sunnah. Be very cautious in, like I said, as a first point of call, just because your child runs around a bit more than other children, that you're going to drug him up and have him high. Be very cautious. Naam.